do some new Ren, my boys. Real quick. There we go. Let's get me in the scene. Ben, can you show up over here real quick? Yeah. Okay. So I'm watching the wonderful arts of Waz, of the wonderful Waz, the Wizard of... What's all this? Oh, nice. There's music playing. Last I checked, you're listening to... Oh, look at you. Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the subs. So we're listening to West Coast Avengers. They're pretty cool. They're very musical. I'm gonna add them to this playlist I'm working on called Inland Emperors. I have a lot of playlists on SoundCloud. Send me music. We'll listen to it. Let's do some work. So, hello, welcome back to Powerblock. I'm gonna go through one more thing. Mint option, mint option, mint option. Where's my Epic Games launcher? Somewhere in here. And we're just gonna rock it. Trying to get a little comfortable here. I also want to be able to see the whole screen, which has kind of become a challenge. But hello, Power Dog TV, welcome. T-Mad, good chats with you. We're talking about music tech, stuff that we can't afford. We got Miss Mort. We had the power. Oh, we had Zero Transform. Hello, hello. My new headphones have revealed a ground loop hum in my setup, and it's annoying. Do you have a ground loop isolator? That is the question. So I want to make something to Greeb. Greetings. Thanks for kicking it. Hopefully you're enjoying the wonderful works of the Wazinator. I don't know him that well. Can't be just giving people. I don't, but I gotta get one now. Yeah, they're not too bad to come across. Steam VR. I really don't want you to start automatically right now. No offense. So this next asset, I thought I added this to source control last time. Check in this thing. That bridge right. Twan. Let's see. Figure out where the source is coming from. Might be the DAC. Failed to check in files. I don't really want to deal with that right now. Because we know how it works. I need to check this out, however. Can I do that? Alright. A couple of pages here. Art tools is where we were looking just now. I have this thing here in tests, my camera path switching test. And I might as well instantiate that in here. So here we go. A couple of asset tests. If you were here yesterday, you saw our wonderful, wonderful implementation of the spline rail. Just this bridge looking thing. Lighting needs to be rebuilt. I'm not sure how flexible this thing is either. But, I might as well, see how this all works. I don't know if I'm getting the, I don't know if I'm getting rotation from these points. It doesn't look like it. I am doing that in this other asset. And the asset that I want to work on today. So let's build lighting. I'm going to save my scene here. Hopefully it'll ask me to check it out. It's like, nope. Alright, let's build. Lighting only. And so what is your DAC? What are you DACing with? DAC dude. Actually, I want to I changed my mind. I want to change the lighting. Because there's a directional light somewhere in here. Yeah. It's too late now. There we go. Oh, that looks okay. So, you know, we have our road builder thing. We have our camera look thing. We have our path thing featuring camera. And I want more. I used to have this thing here called Greeble Plane. And as you can see, it's actually not doing anything, which is dumb. Alright, on either side we can't see this plane. And let's figure out why that is. So I'm going to get back into this blueprint. And it acts pretty much the same way. I think a lot of it had to do with what I was doing with random selection. So I'm getting rotation, scale, and location at points along the spline, which is useful. And I think I might even expand that to the rail. Maybe have some other version of it. One thing that I really wanted to get down on here was the random seed. That'll actually help us a lot for getting our random assets picked. And I think when I was messing with this before in the construction scripts, I was actually getting some things to appear. But let's like simplify this a little bit and break it back down. Okay. So set static mesh. I wanted to pick an asset from a list. Right, so I have this list of mesh selections for array elements. These guys over here. Greeble 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to get the number of items in an array, -1, and put that into our random integer with the seed. So length -1, that seems right. Return value, we're going to get an index from here. Given the index, returns a temporary copy of the item in the array at that index. Since the copy items will not be propagated back into the array, which is fine. And that should just go into here. So I think something's happening with our selector where that isn't actually working. Do I have, for example, like let's drop in Greeble 1. So this kind of works, right? And it could be that my like default distance, it looks like it isn't even set. Oh, here it is, inside of this category. Boop, 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 boop. So we're talking more like 200, right? This also looks like it's happening once, right? And so I'm gonna go back into the construction script, and every time this is completed, like it spawns a mesh on this thing, we're going to print something like that. Made it. Can't type. Mode aught. Sweet. It was an I'm unemployed purchase. I understand that. DAC optical to slink. Let's have a look. Eventually, apparently. Oh, wow. I don't have any optical kit. Well, for your setup, I mean, that'd make a lot of sense, right? What does this thing do? Wow. I love how high def these images are. Optical in, coaxial in, ready to go. Oh, that's pretty neat. I like this track. I feel like people are following me. What the? Get out of my way. What are these notifications? Vishnu is following me. I don't know who this is. But hey, thanks. Thanks for all that love. Alright, so I won't be able to see updates to this asset here. but I will be able to see it here. And I should actually also probably update the indexes. Um, so I want to add strings. Kind of like a string. To text. And then I actually want to get, let's see. Just want to get this. And then can I add string? Or like concatenate or something? Combine maybe? Ooh, build string. That's not what I want. Append. And so I want to add this blam to this made. I should add a space or something there. Coaxial or USB for a new one. The stream is currently being mixed through my audio interface, which is the K-Mix. I'm a big fan. So yeah, this is only producing one. Alright. Which is alright with me. I mean, it's not alright actually, but... Another thing that I find is interesting about this object, it's setting the right material. Like, let's rotate this around. That screen space reflection. So that's just creating the one. And that's a pretty good method for figuring out exactly what's happening here. Well, yeah, you know, that's a good thing to have. Get your budget right. So distance and density. Why is this multiplying and not dividing? Oh, here's the divider. So I should get the distance, right? Get spline length. And I'm dividing it by 0, and that's not working for me. So I should plug the distance into here. That'll go a long ways. Alright, so now we've created like 25 of these things. Based on the density. That's super sweet. I can change the distance here. Alright. And it looks like we're also inheriting rotation and scale, which is sweet, right? So we're going to add a lot more randomness to this selection. Also, default set random initial seed is not really doing anything for me. But this is the kind of thing that I want to change. Setting the random seed actually is going to give me the opportunity to do what I was trying to do a while ago, where this would only update and redraw meshes that were, like, it would pick those meshes at a reasonable rate, something that's kind of predictable. But now I can see that we're only picking a certain asset from this list. And if you look at these guys, I think it's Greeble 3? Let's double check. Maybe it's 2, which is index 1. Also, these materials are like not particularly useful. Like, they're cute, you know? They're cute, but they're useless. So, where is this guy? We're going to switch this out. Let's see. Tech checker dot. Gross. I know you're not done building your shader yet, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. How about, well, what's up? And something else. Constant ground home, but there's also a buzzing that comes from when the GPU is active. Oh, that's a pain in the butt. Does that mean that you're going to have to do something like change the... Material, metal, chrome. Should apply to all of these guys. Yeah, that shader's 100% compiled though. Oh, okay. Yeah, dude, go external. Record the tape. I wish. Right? Alright. So that's working. Let's make it work better. Alright. So that's good. Positioning is right. We're gonna add some jitter into here. Like rotating, breaking this rotation vector apart and putting it back together with some random reorientation. We might have to do that after the mesh is created, which is fine. Hello. Yes, I do. I think so. Yeah, hold on just a second. Okay. I mean, how long do you have? How much time do you have? Like, for how long are you here for? Okay. Because I can definitely... It'll take me like an hour and change to do this. Okay. Oh. Trying to help my neighbor here. Okay. That's weird. It does the opposite of what I think it does. I'm just a magic man. It's so beautiful. Alright. So let's assume that this is working now that my distance thing is solved. There we go. Let's make sure our default value is a little bit more reasonable. Okay. And now we can actually change the seed. What I find that's kind of weird about this, and it might have to do with the spline that's in here by default, is the the scale is probably not zeroed out. That's a good answer. All right, let's go to 0.0. Yeah, same thing with you. 5? No, no, no. There we go. All right. Compile. Save. And now this will have a little bit more of a random spread. I can get rid of this instance, right? Actually, I might just delete this whole thing and then recreate it. Sweet. This is exciting because I can get back to work on materials and looks a bit more. Like this density kind of weirds me out. But the cool thing about it is it doesn't have to pick a bunch of weird meshes anymore. Like it's doing that and it's creating however many that is. Looks like 8 roughly. I definitely want these things to be a bit more spread out. I want them to scatter a little bit more. But now that I have a working instance of this thing, we can mess with the seed and see like, oh, okay, yeah, I like whatever, some random number, right? Even if it's 0, I'm gonna get something. That's like a huge, huge design consideration. But it still looks like I'm not getting all of the meshes that I can out of this, so I might want to adjust the spacing. Let's see, what does like 1,000 look like? Oh yeah, I got a whole single thing. That's great. I might also want to make adjustments to the individual meshes itself, but you can see here that I've got at least 3 meshes looking pretty good. Okay. So I have like that weird one with like 2 kind of things going through it. Let's undo this real quick. Chunks this down to 500, so we increase our density a bit. Right. I should be able to scale this up. Looking good. Oh, that's beautiful. Also, it looks like the material is being assigned to these elements as well. So I have a couple of things that look like they're just fixed. But that type of stuff, that's the stuff. I mean, there are a couple of more steps that I think we can take with this, and we can actually give options for designers. But what I love about this tech, let's close that out. And actually, let's get our light source. Which one of you is attached to our sun? That one. Let's rebuild lights real fast, even though it's not necessary. Gives me a second to think about what I want to do style-wise. USB or coax might fix, but it also might not. I heard about something recently that grounds a USB signal separately from a data signal. Like it splits those two things. So you can... Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know if I can find it, because that sounds like it might be a good solution. Alright, so now got some Greeble looking stuff. I definitely think like 1 or 2, maybe like something like 10 units. That gives me like let's see, so I have this guy, right? I can duplicate it. And every time I duplicate it, it kind of changes the seed. But like, look, that's how fast, with a tool like this, you can build up a lot of areas really rapidly. And also animate these points, right? Like, can probably do this, right? You can change the material that's applied to all of these things so we can have like another metal or something like that. But like, especially for like the factory and things of this nature, like we're already getting pretty far. These like, it's a good look. That yeah. I'm digging the West Coast Avengers. They're pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty sweet. I can like pick this last guy, scale it up. We can actually add bending, or add bends to this, right? Ooh, this is hot. Ooh. Love it. Ah, that's a good look. I might want to add a tint or something like that, like a scriptable behavior. Alright. So I should add an option for angular jitter, but we should try it first. 'Cause I am way into that look. Like, that fits these guys really well. Let's take this for a ride. I'll show you what I'm talking about. What is this play option? I just want regular play. Alright, so let's go to this guy who is flying stuff. Oh, these two things are no longer aligned. But that's okay. I must have made a change to another asset. But oh, that one's not moving automatically either, huh? Alright, cool. Good to know, good to know. Let's save your work. Save your work, team ad. Save your work. Let's see who else is in chat. Whoever else is in chat. Power Dog TV. Hello and welcome to the chat. Amex 0207. Introsum. Please let me know if you have any questions about this project. I will leave a thing in here. It goes like this. Our very own Justin Moravets, who's in chat, also worked on this. He's one of our gurus. What is going on? Stop playing. Okay. I really like how when I hit stop playing, it doesn't stop playing. Also, I probably hit something to put the camera in some other weird control mode. Pause. Stop. I just hit save, right? I'm going to save maps, camera path switching. No, I don't want to save as. Do I have like caps lock on or something? I do. Haha. Is there anything on screen that would let me know that caps lock is on? Anyway, jeez, that was frustrating. Alright, so you're looking good. You're going to look better in just a second. So I want to have pretty much 3 options, right, for when we have this type of asset in place. And that has to do with this thing, right? We set a static mesh, we set a material. When we add a static mesh component, we should probably give it a, let's see, oh, I might be able to do it here. Alright, so let's see, how can I do, I need to use this random seed thing again. So I'm gonna put this guy out here. Because I'm gonna use something, I'm gonna use it like that. And let's organize this set a bit. So this is our mesh picker.
It's the rise of the planet of the tapes. And frankly, homies, we got no plan to escape. But we'd rather not escape. We'd rather stay and make it great. With the hip-hop gymnasium, we looking and we blazing up.
Just trying to find a good organizational method. Like, I don't like this type of, like, crossing. So, whatever. Let's select all of you. I mean, there are obviously certain things that I can't do. But, like, that looks like a pretty good use of space. Right? And then these guys. Right. That's okay, I guess. I like how they do object casting. I think that's clever.
Sticky, icky, green, pick it clean with your fingers. Drop it in a bowl, paper blunt, wrap, friend sack, fat nugs, fiend up over a flame, get roasted. Mad thugs even have to claim they get toasted. Weed is superfluous, even for the worst of us. Knee-jerk purchases, even bought a succubus. Never did a doubt though, herb would be a big drain, money disappearing.
And of course I'm going to have issues with this crossing over in the future. Maybe this thing could live upstairs. That's pretty clean.
Anytime is fine, got joints in the line. Bong loaded, I'm floating on something sublime. Delivered and quivering like a baby, I'm stoned. Couch locked in my home, a clone flying, blown on my own. When you see some shit that you
So random seed, because we're going to use it over here, I want to make sure that I have it like highlighted, right? And then this section is our random mesh picker. So that works fine. Sweet, thanks. Compile, save. And this debug stuff is not necessary right now. I can move this whole groove, right? I think there's also a way to like straighten a connection, right? Straighten connection to static mesh. Like, what is the point of this? It's, yeah, not particularly useful. Okay. And now, so I want a couple of different values along the rotation of this spline, right? I still want to maintain this like ability to rotate along the spline, right? Because I think that has a lot of good style. Like you can just build more shapes with that, right?
Social dancing with 2 left feet, trying to go with the flow, but stepping on toes. Goes to show it ain't what you know that makes you a pro. It's practice at being open to being vulnerable. It's back to basic, cause every stoner would know the corner or bowl. Don't waste it, taste it, and lace with wax on wax, a glass on glass, a fuck or backwards ass, tax on grass, burning quick, a blazing fast. Maybe not the first, but surely not the last. On that puff puff pass, paying never no mind.
I definitely want to move this variable into that domain to change the coverage of this thing. Like, oh, that's like pretty dense.
So when life's a bore, pack some more, cause everything you see is better with 3, and everything you do is better with 2. Bowls, blunts, bitches, cool with the crew. We do what we do when we do it well, balancing life like nugs on the scale. Double your coins like Sonic Knuckles or Tails. Life's a game, it's just better for me. Doesn't even take a real header to see.
Keep that. That's beautiful. We could probably also do a similar thing that we do with the stairway, with like canyon areas that are high detail. The stairway, this thing, the road. It's not a stairway. So, how do we do this? So can I break this vector? Break rotator, perfect. And so that's going to put X, Y, Z. Now if we look at their viewport, we can see what that orientation looks like. I can't really move it. Alright, so let's go to U. E to rotate. So I want to go through X, right? No. Y. Yeah. So that is yaw. No. Pitch. Cool. So I need another component to make a rotator. And we're going to pass through these points. Except in between this operation, I need to have basically 4 variables. I think I can probably do an array of floats. So let's add another variable. I want angles. Probably the easiest way to do it. I could probably also multiply like 90 times a random number. Actually, let's try that out. That might be a little bit cleaner. I mean, it's not something that we're going to need to see. And also I can use that random seed here. So, let's see. If I multiply by 90, float times float. And then I need a int float, or I could just have 4 constants. We'll try a couple things out. I need to select a random range. Random range from stream. Random integer in range from stream. I can also use like division to get the closest thing to that, but I think this will be a little cleaner. So here's our random stream. The max is going to be 3. And we're going to select get array, get vector array average, get a reference, get actor array. So we're going to have to this guy. Give an array and an index. Yeah. So it's pretty much the same thing. Except instead of picking from... Oh, I see, it just does that. Alright, I'm not curious about length, but we definitely need to make an array. So let's do this. It's gonna be an array of floats. So jitter angles. You are gonna be floats. Blueprint read only. You shouldn't be visible. Let's compile. And also, you need to be a list.
I beg your pardon, I seen cold grow from hotness, ordered sunlight from darkness, and when the time came, the West Coast Avengers rocked it. Life excitement, we were joyous.
I mean, I can plug in 4 things, but
that a higher power gives to me because
there we go. So I have an array, I have a set. Ooh, interesting. And a map. Interesting. What are these things? Ah. That's cool. So I can have an integer array mapped to float values? Is that how that works? Let's try that out. I have a feeling I'm gonna get them. And can I select from that? Map of integers to floats. Do I have to? Is there like a get from map? Map values. Oh, weird. All of the values present on the map. I want to get one of these guys. And the max should be the length.
this is literally Blue, written by Nate Pritz. It's from the new issue of Ghost Town.
-1. It's the same idea.
This beat's produced by Ross Josh. It's another West Coast Avengers production.
I wonder if that'll work. Oh no, because it's an execution.
Everything became serious in spite of our smiles and the green
So
of
it's
the
-1.
grass and the heft of our kites as they pinballed between smog, between
Integer
buildings
minus
and
integer.
bridges. These are my feelings. I won't wait for the birds to depart in their
Now I need to
envelopes.
define
It's
these
small if I
values.
say so with a sweater in my voice. That tornado scented air in the
What?
bottom of my mug.
Maybe that's not how the
You
thing
get
works.
each one of the seasons and also a pen that writes sense
Tooltip
and list
private
after list.
replication. Are
Then
there
this
more options?
auburn finger curl like an eclipse in the
Configure
moonlight.
variable.
To pale reminder of all that's been waiting to give your blood one little kick. This is my
nope.
last chance for speaking up to kiss the blue from your lips and invite you to hold each one of my hands, even if your brow is furrowed in a look of agony, even if stretched all the way upstate. I like it. That pressure, the feeling of work you've earned, the strain that releases. I could spend all day looking for just a bit of some sun, and when I find it, I'll bring it to you like a happy missile, ready to detonate all over your face. Mornings I hear all the quotes on the news, the chirping, explosive squares, squawking in chorus, the light
Yeah, so
in
I
your
definitely want to
lens
get
is
the
light
list
I provided.
Let's change the count.
This year
Let's
that
change
I've
this
lived like
guy.
a sentence is ended. This year that I've lived like a sentence is ended. This
Float.
year that I've lived like a sentence
Turn you to
is
an array.
ended.
That's all this. Blueprints need to be indexed. Okay.
This is a Nate Pritz poem. Untitled.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna delete this for
I
now.
read one specific email 15 times to really feel it all the way
There should be a
through.
list of
So let
floats.
it become part of the texture of my day. Sharp red afternoon cotton leaves.
Compile.
Ruckus evening wind, the dark. The end doesn't look
All
or
right,
feel
now we can
like
rock
the
this.
beginning.
I need 4
I
array
close
elements.
my eyes when
I
they're
went
worn
0.
out
I
from
went
being so
90.
open. I can forget
Oh,
one
and instead of
specific
multiplying, I need to
evening
add.
or 4 whole
I went
years.
270.
Even your name as easily summer forgets time. The blue of
And
July
this should
turning
be an
white
add,
into
not a
August. Now it's October. Language can fix even the most complicated
float.
inner reality. I go for a walk and wonder about how to represent the clouds. Should I write them down so they stop moving? Should I press hard? Everything I do depends on outside light. Later,
Okay,
I
you
lift
are
my head
incorrect.
from a pillow, and the whole room is startlingly
We're going to
white.
grab this guy.
Brighter because infused with such deep cold, I can fear air breaking around me. I can
And we can do the
feel
same thing
air
with distance as well.
around me.
Map of wildcards to wildcards, only available with floats. Well, I don't want wildcards, man. I want to get the length. So we'll do this, length. I have to say that these values could be a little bit smarter. Let me get you from you. Okay. And now we have interrupted this rotation grabber thing. So we can nix that. We have a new rotator. That should be it for applying a random rotation. That means the darn. Of course, my blueprint looks questionable, but I feel like we're going to add more to this.
I bring the resurrection of the light, a black king with the scorpion sting. Night chimeras who swallow shame. Like the bird of Hermes, I'm meeting my wings to make me tame.
It's a good sample.
The reign of the raven and the wolf began in 85. I'm working to revive an army of homunculi. To rap, dance, and jive. A mystic music survives and thrives in the forces between you and I. So many struggle to
Do
find
a
the
stir
beat.
rotation.
A social dancing with 2 left feet. I'm trying to go with the flow, but stepping on toes.
right
It
angle.
goes to show it ain't what you know that makes you a pro. It's knowing when to be open
Compile.
to being vulnerable. I learn and control. I'm taking the role of being an awesome guy, an octopi who's off the shy. They caution why I'm inking subliminals with tentacles, speaking cynical on those who doubt I don't have a hand in everything whimsical. I'm pinning out my mythical pinnacles. I turn the metaphysical ideas into something more divine and digital. An understanding everyday life is still biblical. Yeah, understanding everyday life is still biblical.
Not sure that that's working the way I want it to.
If you can feel a philosophy, we can fuel
Oh, that looks better though.
Sometimes we only see what we want to see. Take space and show what we got to see. If you can feel a philosophy,
Yeah.
we can fuel a democracy. Sometimes we only see what we want to see. Take space and show what we got to see. I never understood the alchemy of falconry or even fathomed the concept of alchemy. We hope to manipulate molecules. In the good books, those who play God are the fools. But maybe that's particles of the bigger panoramic view of us on avenues doing what we have
I
to do.
like it.
I feel pretty free, but sometimes I think that's a sentiment that's limited only to me. Is that anesthetized? You won't see a lot of regret when you look at my
But you can tell that the rotation is working because the upscale, like the Z scale is now now applies to each of these things differently. I wonder if we can fix that. Like, instead of getting, see, it's getting scale, but I don't have an option for a local scale, like I have for rotation and location.
Any more than I could conjure some talcum or calcium. Call me a locksmith, I'm a wordsmith. Locked in words is how we run, like rabbits run.
That is
Habits
beautiful,
go for
though.
having fun. Contrary to natural law, vice we gotta catch 'em all. And I don't really feel that bad about it. We are millennial falcons, used to having our attitudes flouted. Ideas once hidden, we proud and we shout 'em. Dreams once deferred, not deterred, but rerouted.
You
If you can feel a philosophy, we can fuel a democracy. Sometimes we only see what we want to see. Take space and to show what we got to
still feel like that material is not right. So another thing I want to make sure I do is, yeah. There we go. Sweet. So now I can change the material of this entire set, which is a really good incentive to start working on like a couple of tileable materials. Maybe going through like a Quixel set. Let's see, how are we doing on time? Of course, I can't see exactly. I'm gonna shamefully hit the uptime button. Only an hour. Nah, that's not good. I need to give you more than that. But I really like how some of this stuff works. Oh, glass. Actually, we can make this glass. That would be neat. Oh yeah, compile that shader. The default glass doesn't look very good. The refraction index is a little bit shallow. First edition, mint condition, wishing to complete the set. Also, there isn't much of a specular like thing going on here. Ooh, I like that though. That displacement's tight. Stacks on stacks of imaginations, molding minds like Play-Doh. A lungs full of dro, blowing glass like O's. So now we're doing that. To the IE, California golden poppies, lost boys with those pothead hobbies, wabi sabi hotties, a living life so godly. Right. One thing that I kind of don't like about that is that type of like that scale doesn't do everything we want it to do. Ooh, I kind of like how that messes things up. That's kind of neat. Suppose it's how I use it. A new mutant, a musical mammal, a dropping rhymes like tunes dropping anvils. A ramble on like a mad. Let's make this gold or something. A golden boy making multiples like mad rocks. A clacking your skulls like padlocks. Dreadlock, young black suburban articulate ham. Always down to jam and to give a damn. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that works really well. Who they call the neighbor and a friend or fam. And now I think you understand what it is to be the sham. And now I think you understand what it is. Do you have something else that's like tech? On the 10 again, it's like 710. Then again, no way to explain. Rather have an intimate exchange. Now it's after 5 on the 605, and I'm still alive. I guess I got no room to complain. Now we coming through on the 22. I tunnel through what we. All right, those UVs look kind of whack. You have to mob the earth on the 15 to the 210 to see the way we're having to interchange. On the 10 again, how about you? I think this is going to be the same problem. Yeah, I need to fix these UVs. Now it's after 5 on the 605 and I'm still alive. I guess I got no room to complain. Now we coming through on the 22. I tunnel through what we're getting into today. The heck is this? They found us downtrodden, so they called us rotten. Bring on a painful cavalcade. Statue glass. Lemonade. We'll take you in irascible. You walk out rational when you sat down. Hextile pulse. Like I'm in hot pursuit of conversation that's astute. You're always cool, though that time you came through with him. He asked me for I used to do this in school all the time. Just make everything ocean colored. Got an alias too. So what will aliens do when we pack up a sack of wax and get some ale to come through to their side of the intergalactic corridor? Weekend warriors coming straight from California. Definitely things to do. Oh, there's like a laser thing, isn't there? Laser? Because now I'm old enough to feel the limits of the space in my mind. Musical tennis from Fontana to Venice. Socioeconomically refer to us as 33%ers. Hasty winners, tasty sinners is the type that rides lately with us. Saintly figures hand us tokens, take these with us like sandwiches for each. Yeah, I like the ceramic tile, but rolled out the hotel lobby. Won't you pass them in toast lips? The blunt hits, we discuss tips on the substance, a necessary force and a necessary roughness. Social justice for me a bit cooler than math problems. A little bit of both to help Batman to have Gotham, which for us is like patent connected to Redlands. Miraloma unincorporated pharmacist heads is the connection. Still, you can see that we have a lot of issues with these Greevel, like this test Greevel UV set. These seams. But we're getting there. it's probably a good idea to start thinking about what materials we want to make. So let's see. Oh, let me do one more modification to the script. I want to have a public variable that gives us the option to do this, right? So let's see. I wonder if I can do like a control flow type of thing, where I want this to happen if this boolean is true, right? Um, so like, we'll add a variable first. This is going to be a bool. It's not going to be a list. It's just going to be a regular single variable. It's going to be called allow angle jitter. Angle jitter. And then we get an error. You can't name your variables with spaces. Yes, you can. Alright, I do want this to be visible. I want to make sure that these are also in the same group, the Greeble group. Same thing with set random. Which we can call random seed. You in that group as well. Greeble. Don't you love it when your tooltips just mess with your thing? Alright, so I'll get a reference to this guy. And the default value, well, let's compile. Okay. Ugh. Default value should be false. Also, it should be addressable per instance. Okay, good. And default value should be true. That makes a lot of sense. Compile. So that way, whatever the behavior of these things is right now, like that'll stay, yeah? Sounds good to me. I'm so into how this looks. Alright, not to mention, we have a lot of details to get. I think we might even want to do a similar thing for position to make the depth right. Like, we can add noise for every property that's here. And probably have a tag for each of those things as well. So it's like, oh, do I want to enable angle jitter? Do I want to enable scale jitter? Do I want to enable, any of these types of things? And then we can also have like another sub option that's like a variant of this. I mean, like, the thing about blueprints is it can go on forever. Isn't that great?
I'm pragmatic enough to want to get the battle right, and that is why some want to call me a drone apologist. I sent a droid abroad and keep my siblings in colleges. I'm modifying tires filled with collagen. Mob the concerts that is rollicking. Truthfully, that's like you and me, like humans speak. It's true to please, we spark is filled with blue and green. We toke a cigarillo, filled it in the middle with the soft, nice parts of the light marshmallow. Unharsh fellows that won't be betrayed like Othello. And we would like to say hello, but I learned from Sham and Brandon can't be cowed and weak. Need love a funk called life and inhale deeply.
So let's see, what can we do? Editor scripting. It's kind of distracting, but I'm curious about this category. Okay. I guess, I mean, it would be just a normal if, right? A branch. Sure, why not? Oh, but now I need an executor here. Does that mean that I need another version of this stack? There's probably another way that this works. The condition for that thing is going to be tied to this type of thing. If this is true, I want to execute this group down here, right? But do I have to functionalize this thing? Like, apply jitter and have like an in-out? I'm not sure. What other kind of branches do you have? Enumeration, traversal, casting. What do you? Output that matches the input value. Nope. These are just regular switches. Click to remove this from your favorites. Only. I mean, another thing that we can do is attach a value to this. Like if we get that value and multiply it right here, that is a good way to intercept this thing. I don't know, let's try that out. So angle jitter. I'm gonna multiply this. Float. We're gonna change this to a float. The default value for this float, hold on. There we go. So if I compiled this, warning, what is this? Property of angle jitter cannot parse the default value true. That's not the default value anymore. So this is actually kind of sweet. Let's say I go with this guy, right? Now when I have angle jitter going, I can multiply that. And if I multiply that by whole numbers, then I can get pretty far with the same effect, right? Like still changing the seed. But then also, you know, multiplying the rotation of all these objects. So 0 kind of bypasses that effect. And that'll allow me to scale the way that I expected, right? Just pretty sweet. You know, make this further out. Hey, it's Sophie MintPotion. Huh? What's going on? Let's see. All this stuff is what scares me away from game development. Whatever. And it's actually the weird thing about it. I think it depends on where you're coming from. Like you understand things like CSS and you know, scripting for bots and these types of things, and kind of breaking down your relationship with these things. Gosh, Sophie the Wrecking Ball. I wish I could hit up to see the up time. Because they don't involve math. But they do, sort of. But I also like get pretty geeky and, you know, I do watch a lot of math related stuff. Sweet. Alright, so we have some control here. I like this initial seed adjustment. We can multiply. Yeah. Notice how it doesn't affect the first dude? Interesting. I'm into that though. There might also be a way to apply this like along the length of the spline as well. But we are dealing with some cool stuff now. 2, 1, 0. I mean, really, it's 1 is kind of on, right? So now they scale kind of in all these weird directions. 0 fixes that, right? And then, of course, we can get a real setting, real seeds. And we'll just move that on out. Whoop. Let's keep those, add more. Use that curve. See, one thing I don't like about this is how moving the original point, or adding points, has to do with the original point's position. But whatever the rate, I think that's fine.
it difficult, my dear. Don't you know I find it difficult, my dear?
Should be able to scale this way as well. Yeah.
'Cause I find it difficult, my dear.
Oh, that's some gorgeous stuff. I remember my first couple years on the internet, looking at like DeviantArt and saying like, how do they do all this crazy like generated mesh stuff? But this is great. Let's see. We're listening to the West Coast Avengers. I just played at their Beat Showcase last month. I will play at their Beat Showcase next month in San Bernardino if you're in the area, if you're willing and ready to go. Input numbers for sizes and positions, adjust them, plugging into a port, yeah. All programming is designed in the port and plugged from scratch using raw materials. I mean, most of programming is locating and moving data. Like we're designing a data type, right? And manipulating and repositioning that data type. This is great. I am so happy with this tool. It's difficult, my dears. Oh man, it's just so juicy. It seems like every data type requires you to do algebra and calculus. I mean, I would say that those things are necessary. Variables by their nature, right, are like the core of algebra. And calculus is about how different functions interact with each other. So when you're talking about designing a system, like balancing a game or generating geometry or things like that, it's pretty crazy. So I want to go to my little stage now and make a better version of this thing that more accurately represents this. That looks so cool. Let's get a high-res screenshot, yeah? Yeah. High-res. Can't spell. High-res shot. And then I think I can multiply it by this, I think 4. It multiplies the viewport size. And so we can actually go see where that shows up. And I don't need this to be in the, that's dope. I'm liking it. Cool. Alright, so I don't need that in source control right now. Thanks, though. Goodness. I don't know. Should we have a who's worse at math off? Worse at math off. Is that a thing? Cool. What I like about these guys is they're just shamelessly writing songs that are pretty good. What's going on with this camera path? So, camera starts in the right position, but its path must be like on the other side of China or something. So, cam straightforward cam gate path sequence. What? Okay, first of all, why are all of these things children of that thing? That's just not cool. You too. Right? So if I open my sequence editor, gate path sequence, we'll be able to see where the position of this camera is along this path. And it looks like it's actually in pretty good shape. So I'm gonna scooch location, scooch to that first key. Just kind of double check that we're going through the gates here. Alright, scooch it over again. You can see here that it kind of reaches the edge. Like a lot of design tools. I mean, making design tools that are like nice have a lot to do with using bad design tools. That looks pretty good. Okay, that shouldn't be much of an issue. What's up with the simulate by default thing? Oh, Alt S must have been what I pressed. Let's just do this. So let's go into, yeah! Holy shit! A couple of details to fix there. But then like this type of thing, yeah. Yeah, oh, the Citadel. I don't know, that's dope. Taking like freshman year algebra in high school. And then you just stopped from there, is that the idea? I don't know where this ambient noise comes from either, but whatever. Alright, that's so sweet, man. Sweet. Alright, you can of course rename the instances, we can keep things organized. Oh, there's some just random default audio object. Starter background, okay. I think I might have modified the background, or the starter content level. Sweet. Let me check up on your chat, yo. Freshman year. Wow. Well, yes, programming certainly is not for everyone. That is the truth. It took me a lot of practice to get okay at it, and I'm not like. It took me a while to become a programmer in any sense of the word, where I was like confident doing programming jobs and tasks and things of that nature. What is going on with this? Cannot pass the default value. But there's no default value. The default value should be 0. Compile. I shouldn't see that warning. We're good. Save. We're good. Connect to source control. I want to add this guy. Okay, anyway, let's go. It's so pretty. Alright, so that gives me a lot of options. I can do variations of this road. Like here's just like a basic rail, but I have this other like path designs, right? Which is also unwrapped and pretty. And this is actually from the concept, right? So we can actually do different segments and swap out segments. I mean, like a lot of things that Houdini can do, at least for basic mesh placement and things of that nature, have an option that adds gates instead of having to place these manually, even though it's not that big of a deal to do this type of thing, right? Like what am I doing? This type of thing. Sweet. Right? Like we could do that all week. Select all of these guys, do it again. Alright. Whee! Whee! I guess I have to release Alt and Shift. But yeah, it's things like that, man, where you're just like, we're selecting different softwares have their different like idiosyncrasies, right? But like, that's so workable. Save it. I mean, let's see if I can multiply the heck out of that high-res screenshot, right? If I click the viewport, hit up. Let's try 8. Sometimes you're gonna get a limitation from your video card, like, hey man, I can't actually do that. Happens. Programming is not for everyone. Gram proing is super easy. A gram pro. I think that's when you're really good at like weighing things, right? Would you care to be a sharing these airy breeze? Vacation on a trees, cause we station on a bleeze, and we ain't trying to hear it. I think it's done. A couple of spirits steering. I wonder if I got an error. No matter how high, red eyes is open wide, and we ready to fly. Come on. Field lighting only. So we can leave Atlas in the stage, you know, waste a bunch of memory. And let's see, what to? Oh yeah, I have to update that screenshot. Map check found some issues. Oh word. What's the issue? Holy crap! Large actor receives pre-shadow Did they disable it by dynamic? Yeah, I see. That's fine. As long as it's not casting automatically. We can do some cool stuff. Anyway, this is my art citadel. It's beautiful. Pretty. And also, I don't know if that. Anyway, not important. Let's open up the white stage. Ooh, this is a nice beat. They have a lot of tracks. Smooth.
Like a politician, got a campaign that I'm launching. People always assuming just what I'm needing, wanting. People think I like to fight, but I don't.
But programming is basically, and I'm gonna totally rip off Casey Moratori because I watch his streams constantly. I don't watch them live anymore, but like, you know, on the weekends I'll watch the VODs, and I've learned a lot from that show. Handmade Hero, by the way, if you don't know about it. But programming is understanding a system so well that you can tell a computer how to do it. And yes, that does come down to understanding different types of data and how these different functions interact with each other. The timing of a computer and things like that. So many things are already handled for us these days that we can actually get away with, like, a lot. Let's see. I just have a whole bunch of ideas about like how to do other generated art stuff that's gonna like save tens of millions of hours. Let's see what I wanted to do. Where's this stage? Right, content. I think it's in maps. I think it's in the art tools. Wait, this is the art tools test area, right? No, this is camera path switching. Blah 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 blah. So we're going to save all of you guys. I'm surprised why it's not. There we go. I'm surprised it's not telling me to like check stuff out. I don't need that asset anymore though. I'm not gonna go into a stage that has it. Because this is the stage where we take beautiful photos of our assets. Hey, so you can get out of here now. And we can go into my other little shelf here of Greeble Plane. And we're gonna just rotate that up. And draw more of these guys over here. Pull this over. I'm gonna add this thing. Rotation, yeah. We could also add other types of jitter and basically have the same method. But as it stands, like, this is a way useful thing already. And we can also do like a position offset. That's alright. Not right now. Can I make this like maybe like, I don't know, steel or something? Brushed, burnished, metal, steel. Yeah, I need something that's a little bit more rust. Ooh, that's cool. It's probably the same problem. Anything that has mapping is going to be stretched right now. I need something that is generative. Ugh. Copper? No, it's the same problem. I just want like. Basic white? Seriously, like I don't care what it is at this point. Wall? And then all I wanted to do, this is the whole reason for this stupid stage, is to capture a thumbnail. Blam. You're beautiful. Alright, good stuff. Delete. Save. I want to mark this for ad. Check in. Can I also like search my current project? Let's check out modified files. And then I want to add all of these things back. I'm trying to think of what to do next. This might be it for the stream today. But let's submit. And it's going to look at all of the assets that I checked out and go, oh, hey, you have a bunch of new assets. Oh, cool. All right, so we deleted some stuff. We are checking things in. We're adding new things. And it looks like, what is this? Okay, sounds good. Cool. Basic Dribble plane. And we could, of course, modify these pretty heavily, right? So let's not keep files checked out. Let's not keep the stream going longer than we have to. Because I'm actually pretty happy with that right now. So let's just make sure that our source control is getting good. Hopefully that's all set. Gotta love those new assets. Is that what that face is? I'm a big fan. I think it looks amazing. I want to, it's probably like a screenshot or something like that, that like needs a little bit of love. How are we doing on music? I think we might be nearing the end of their SoundCloud profile. Oh no, it just keeps going. They have more and more songs. These guys just produce so much music. It's great. Fearful Symmetry. The Rorschach test of your life is today. Look, it's Yacht Club? Okay. Huh? I don't know. Oh. That was not my password or anything. Wouldn't that be hilarious if it was my password? I'm just kidding. Why would I type my password into... I cannot type right now. Jeez. Yeah, that's gonna have to do. Anyway, please send all questions and comments to, I don't know, I guess Ben at MintPotion.com would be cool. I'm Angry Crow on the internet. You can Googleify me. Let's see. I got messages from Serious Beats Showcase Volume 2. Failed to check in files. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on here? Commit failed. Why? Oh. What? Greeble test is scheduled for edition but is missing. Okay, so we're gonna have to... Let's see. Content is not a working copy. Commit failed. Is it the same? Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is mark that file. Actually, can I see that warning list again, my friend? Window. Console. What is viewport? Well, what I can do is get to the top of this and look for that thing. Right? Because there's Greeble Plane, there's all of this stuff, right? The Greeble test is probably a folder that I moved. Like, content, art tools. I have Greeble test meshes, right? And this has that stuff in it. And tests. Let's see. What's on here? Generics. Experiments. Greeble test. So Greeble test is there, but empty. And also, there's nothing in this folder, so I'm going to delete you. Just delete. Delete. Why doesn't it do that? Grievous test is scheduled for addition, but is missing. Okay. It's fine. So I'm going to submit for source control. It's going to do that whole check-in thing. But we're going to have an issue about... Where is it? It's marked for add. Content assets. Greevil. Oh, Greevil test meshes. That's right. Greevil play new assets. So all of these guys are good. To see if this file's even in here. It would be in generic content assets. It should be right there. Also, this asset might be missing. But it looks like that was removed from this list. Let's try that again. Let's see, add his flying, add Greevil blueprint. Try not to be too casual, because it's not going to help me later. Okay, that should be fine. I don't see that path that was causing an issue before. So I would love for this error to not happen. Anyway, that's not something that you need to watch. I hope you enjoyed the West Coast Avengers. I don't know who these folks are. I mean, the West Coast Avengers. I know who they are. You know, believe it or not, I've literally lost apartments before, literally by minutes. I've been looking for an apartment. It's very challenging. But hey, that's okay with me, man. We're gonna stick to it. Anyway, let me low-key scoot over to this machine that you can't see, that only I can see with my amazing alien technology. We're just gonna put that overlay on. We're just gonna sneak off. Hey, thank you guys so much. I need to help out our dear neighbor. The stream was good. I'm not sure whether we're doing Brian shows this evening, but as soon as I know, I'll let you know on the Discord. I feel like this is going pretty well. I don't know, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Take care.